Live record. All right, hello, folks. Thank you. Welcome. We are talking about a subject, obviously, it's very near and dear to our heart. We want to encourage you, of course, every time we get on here for lunch to think outside the bank. And for a lot of people that are going through hard times, you're looking for work, you're looking for money, credit. There really is limited options when situations when the economy takes a turn and we don't like the way that it's going. Does your job lay you off or furlough you? I mean, it seems like a lot of things can be outside your control, which is why we want to encourage you to start a business, to build, if you already have one, but maybe it's been sitting on the shelf for a while, to build it. And if you already are in business, but you're in a rut, now is the time to build, start, grow your business. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about one of the businesses that we started and how, because we talk to so many people, right? And they think, I want to start a business, but I don't know what kind of business to be in. And I think we all are in business in many different respects. I think we're all salesmen in many different ways. I think we're all marketing. We're all in real estate. We're all doing these things. Mm-hmm. But the things that we're already doing, how can we turn it into something we're passionate about?
Absolutely.
So let's get in. So first of all, I mean, who are we? Folks, each and every week we come to you. My name's Joseph Smith. This is Ray Fleming.
Hey, everybody.
My business partner. We're the wise guys in ties. Not that we're silly wise guy crack-ups or we're the mafia or anything like that. No, we're wise in the ways of starting businesses. We, between us, own, 7 or 8 businesses?
7.
And we have and we've worked with literally hundreds of clients, helping them to build, start, and grow businesses. And so we've helped people fund to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, we need to keep a counter of how much money we've helped businesses raise just in the last year.
Ooh, yes.
It's got to be approaching millions.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
I know it's definitely in the neighborhood of it's well over $500,000. But I will have to go back and have accounting take a look at how much we've done. But we are dedicated to helping you find the resources that you need to do what God put you on this earth to do. I mean, only you know what you're meant to do. And are you meant to sit there furloughed? Are you meant to sit there and wonder if your job's coming back or if the economy, or are you watching the stock market and it's all over the place? Are you concerned about what's going to happen? Look, it's time to take some control. And when you start your own business, you begin to create your own economy.
Absolutely.
An economy that you control. I mean, do you want to sit around and wait for the folks in Washington to figure this out?
No, not necessarily. But actually, I want to go back because you were saying $500,000. I'm thinking of at least 3 of our clients, and those 3 combined is like $500,000.
I know. I mean, we have right now we're working with currently 117 clients right now. And they're all at various stages of building their credit. I mean, I know that we've like we had Dr. Morris.
Oh yeah,
we interviewed him.
Absolutely.
I know we've gotten him.
Oh yeah, so that's a cool thing. We got a podcast that's going to be coming out on the 1st. Stay tuned for that. It's going to be super exciting. Where we are interviewing business owners who have had success with building their business credit.
Be very careful how you say that. All right, folks.
One of those things of being live.
But yes, our podcast is going to be great because we're talking to actual people that have started a business or who had built a business, especially during these hard times, and the success that they've had utilizing our program. And so let's now transition to what we wanted to talk about today, which was our one of our business models. This is a real estate model that we put together. And okay, first of all, when it comes to real estate, I first of all personally believe that everybody's a real estate investor. Everybody, I mean, unless you're living under a bridge, right? I mean, for the most part, you're either paying rent or you're paying a mortgage, right? If you're paying a mortgage, you're paying for your own real estate. Right. You're investing in yourself. If you're paying rent, you're building somebody else's real estate portfolio and helping them pay that down. But regardless, you're investing in real estate.
Well, everybody sees themselves as it, regardless if they own real estate or not. I mean, we all love it when gas prices fall. You know, we really do. And so even if you don't even own real estate, you feel the pain when the prices fall.
It's $1.89 down the road.
$1.89, and we're like, woohoo! I mean, there's some places underneath $1 right now, and that's just insane. But the reverse, if the housing market falls, then that's when most people are like, ugh, even if they don't own real estate. So we all feel like real estate investors, whether we are or not.
Now, if you're independently wealthy and you have a lot of money, you can go out and use that and invest in real estate if you want. But I don't believe it is wise to invest your own money in real estate when there's so many other options. And this business model that we put together, we don't put any of our own money or credit into investing in real estate. And so let's go ahead and just take a look at how we do this. So first of all, if I can get my thing to work, there we go. So everything in a box that you see is a business, okay? Everything with a box rectangle, that's a business. So first of all, you see the letter J up there, that's me. That's my business, my S Corp. And and then also you see, here's Ray's business. And one day I'm like, hey, Ray, do you want to invest in some real estate, get some rental properties?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Do you have any money?
Absolutely not.
So why don't we go out and form a business? Let's call it Wise Guys and Ties. Sound good? Now, this business obviously does a lot of things. It's a business consulting firm, especially on how to get direct funding for your business, how to build business credit. But it also owns and manages properties.
Yes.
Man, it's really doing a lot of work there. That's a real workhorse of a business. So, so we put together a joint partnership between our two businesses that each of our companies own. And so now we're out looking for money. So what you see over there below with the J, the K, the JR, PN, these are businesses that we helped people who have IRAs set. So if you have an IRA, did you know that it could be self-directed? And people are like, what IRA? The retirement accounts. If you have a 401k, an old 401k that you're not contributing to, you could roll it over into an IRA. And what we do is we help people direct those funds. Now, for the most part, by default, these things invest in the stock market and mutual funds. They're in safe accounts, and you might even have this. But you might be thinking to yourself, I don't have an IRA.
Absolutely. And I think it would be a good time perfectly before we move any forward, because what Joseph is about to share with you has absolutely changed our lives, our partners' lives. But I want you to let you know that we are not licensed attorneys, financial advisors, brokers, or any of the licensed individuals. So we always encourage you to get those professionals on your team. We have financial advisors on our team that they can assist you with all these, but it's upon you to do your due diligence.
I agree with that wholeheartily. And we live in a world where disclaimers are always needed.
Sometimes we get ahead of ourselves.
But so as you realize that it's up to you to make sure that you're talking with competent legal professionals whenever you make a decision that has any legal impact, especially financial decisions.
For sure.
So with that being said, what we've done is we've gotten ourselves educated and we've learned how to do what we're talking about here. And so you might not have an IRA. And maybe you don't even know somebody who does, but do you know somebody who knows somebody who does, right? Mm-hmm. It's about being willing to have an uncomfortable conversation with people saying, hi, how you doing? How much money do you make? What are your views on religion, politics? All these uncomfortable conversations. I'm not saying you have to talk about all these things, but you have to get out of your comfort zone and really get to know people and let them get to know you. It's really about networking. And as you get to know people and you find out, well, how much they're making, do they have a retirement? How is their retirement performing? Where are they on track to meet their goals? What are their goals? You have these real conversations with folks. Then you can have a really great springboard statement like we've used many times. Well, what if we could show you a way where we could double or triple what you're currently making in your IRA backed by real estate? Would you be interested in having a conversation with us where we could show you how we do that? And what do people say to us like every time?
Absolutely.
And then we show them a model like this, or this is a rental model that we're going to show you, but we also do fix and flips, and we have a fix and flip model very similar to this. So we show somebody the steps of how do you self-direct an IRA. It's a very sometimes complicated process. If you don't know what you're doing, it could be a minefield, but you've got to roll it over through a third-party custodian, and then you have to start, once you have your self-directed account into the third-party custodian, it then has to own an LLC. Once you have an LLC and you set it up the right way, which we cover, like every week we're showing people how to start a business the right way. Like there's like 10 steps on how to start a business. Step number 10 is opening up that business bank account. When you open up the business bank account, you then direct your third-party custodian to transfer the funds into this account. But here's the deal. If you invest with the wrong group of people or in the wrong type of investments, you could do what's called a prohibited transaction. And the IRS, which is highly regulated, this whole process has more rules than you can imagine, right? It's so convoluted that you could perform a prohibited transaction and really set yourself back. And I mean, not just set yourself back, that's putting it mildly. You could dissolve the retirement account, lose all the money, and even have to pay penalties and fines on top of it.
Absolutely.
So when you watch a video like this, don't just run out and do it based on it. You've got to be educated. You got to learn how to do this. We work with the leading top minds really on this. We work with legal professionals. We use real estate attorneys for pretty much everything that we do. So we have been educated, but we do make sure that we cross all our T's and dot all our lowercase j's, right?
Yes.
So the point is, once we help somebody make sure that they're not doing a prohibited transaction or working with folks that, because it's not just the type of investment, it's also who you're investing with, right? Once we've weave that minefield and we find out the best way to help our clients invest, then they start their own self-directed IRA LLC. And here's the beautiful part is you end up getting checkbook control over your retirement account money.
Wow, that's powerful.
Now you have to.
Many people don't even realize that's possible.
I know.
A checkbook for your retirement account?
I mean, people sit there and they look at these funds and they're like, oh, well, there's 16,000, 20,000, there's 50, there's $100,000 sitting there, but you're not allowed to touch it till you're 59 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what if you could touch it today and instead of having it lose money in the stock market, what if it could be investing in real estate that you manage, that you can control? Well, no, that's prohibited, right? That you work with people like us that could help you manage and control that real estate, right?
Right.
There's a proper way to do that. So here's what we do. Helping these folks take more control over their finances, create their own economy. I mean, you hear me say that a lot, but to me, that feels so empowering because you can either be at the whim of what's happening in the market and you don't know what's going to happen, or you can create your own economy. You can choose to participate in a recession, or you can create your own bull market. I mean, that's the way I see it. What do you think?
I absolutely agree with you for sure, because especially when there's uncertainty in the stock market, which some of the best hedge fund managers in the world didn't even see what was happening. And it's just one of those things that what took place a few weeks ago is completely uncertain, and the status of the economy does not dictate the reaction. So during all of this, we did not lower rents.
That's true. I mean, we've seen market fluctuations before. I mean, there was a housing market crisis back in 2008. There was a dot-com burst in the 90s. But, you know, when the economy is going into recessions, not every sector, not every person experiences it. And that's what I think is going to happen here as well. Like as we pull back and we reopen the economy, I think there's going to be pockets or sections of the country that do really well, like gangbusters come back.
Absolutely.
And I think that there are others that are going to lag behind. And so it's about seizing the opportunities and seeing where where they lie, and then learning how to shift and position yourself to, because you got to mitigate your risk too and have some protections.
Ooh. You see, you just brought something up because we had planned for this to happen. Now, I said we did not lower rents, but does that mean that there's tenants that don't have issues right now? And there have been regulations that have been in place for, if somebody's been impacted, they can't be evicted right now. Now, that's totally understandable. We got to protect folks when there's a pandemic, but I gotta tell you something. We planned for these things. We didn't plan directly for this to happen. But
You weren't. That wasn't part of the SWOT.
No. But we said, what happens if the worst case scenario? How can we make sure this money is safe?
Absolutely.
And one of the most powerful things that Joey's about to show you is how we planned in advance for this. And if all of our tenants stopped paying, we would still be okay.
Now let's go ahead and show. Let's go ahead and show you that. So, first of all, how did we get the money in this scenario, this situation? We helped raise money through self-directed IRAs. None of our money, and money that people have that they usually can't access or touch, and they just feel that they don't have control of. Now we're helping people control it and invest in the things that they want to invest in, such as real estate. So as we get back into looking at this, so we form a company where Wise Guys and Ties is a 50% owner, and then our investors are 50% owners. This is a partnership LLC where we are providing 50% of the services. Well, we are providing 100% of the services
100%, yes.
for 50% ownership in the company, and our investors provide 100% of the money for 50% ownership in the company. That's the right way to say it. So, but the services, what are the services we provide?
Well, so first off, it's management overall. So Joseph and I and Wise Guys and Ties, we're the CEO, the CFO, the COO. I mean, we handle the relationships with our tenants, with we do the property management, we do the accounting, we do
we find the deals.
We find the deals. This is relationships in the community. This is literally everything that goes into operating a large scale company is what we're responsible for. Our money partners, they don't really have many.
So they don't have to sit there and be an expert in real estate and know how to evaluate and read a BPO and an appraisal and then figure out the current market trends. Like that's what we're doing, right? And we're evaluating the properties to see how much work they need. If it's a good deal, we're doing the negotiating, the contracts, the hiring of all the contractors,
maximizing cash flow, everything.
Imagine if all of that could be taken off your plate and you just watch your money grow. That's what people want. That's why people have IRAs, right? They don't have IRAs to all of a sudden take on a full-time job of managing those funds. That's like a long-term savings plan that's supposed to be their nest egg, or something that they can maybe use for a college fund for a grandkid or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. So we set this up, and so here's our goal. Our goal was to raise $400,000. And why was it? Because we had already found a duplex and a triplex. Now, folks, you might say, well, I don't have a duplex or triplex. Trust me, if you're into real estate investing, there is a deal every week. There is something. Like if this duplex and triplex was not something that we could ultimately get, could have easily sold them off to somebody else, and then next week found a fourplex or something like. So there's always deals, and they're out there if you know how to find them, and they're out there, and they're not even always on the MLS if you know where to look, right? Right. So in this scenario, we're putting together, and we have an opportunity to purchase a duplex that's really worth $200,000 for a discounted price, because we found an investor that's trying to cash out. They're done managing the properties, and we found a triplex that's worth $300,000 that we could get for $220,000. So we've already built in some instant equity of $120,000 right off the jump. All right, so to purchase these and to do the things that we want to do, we want to raise more than what we need, because there's some maintenance, some fix up, and a lot of the safety nets that we're going to put together that need to be accounted for. So follow along. So this is where we're at. And so the initial thing, so remember, everything in a box or rectangle is in its own company. So we're We're purchasing a duplex and a triplex, and we're putting it in its own LLC, a holding company. The triplex in its own LLC, a holding company. And then we build business credit on all of 3 of these businesses. On the parent company, which is what we call the 1,000 Doors Project. I wonder what the goal of the 1,000 Doors Project is.
Maybe 1,000 doors.
1,000 doors that you own free and clear that would pay you an average of $1,000 a month per door would be $1 million a month in gross.
1 million gross.
1 million gross. That's, I think, it's a good place to start, right?
There's a lot that could be done with that. There's a lot of good in the world that could be done.
And so our cut of that would be $500,000 a month that you and I could split, 60-40. Right?
If our net was $1 million.
60-40. Right. If our net was $1 million. Our gross, right? We're talking gross. But anyway, what a wonderful concept and plan. But a lot of times when you raise money from money partners, there's always this concern that you're going to have to go back and raise more capital and keep raising more capital. And somebody's like, well, wait a minute. I feel like all my money keeps going into this. When am I going to get something back? Well, we created a business model here where we only raise money from our investors one time, and then it just continues to grow. And one of the most important factors is the fact that we put business credit on each of these businesses. And we're going to build more and more businesses. What if I can build $50,000 in just 6 months on a business, and then I can grow that to 150 more within the next 12 months after that? How many businesses am I legally allowed to own?
There's really no limit.
There is none. And so we really can build an infinite amount of business credit that is really the number one security for our investors, because they're investing their capital. What if something happens? Well, we could use our business credit if they needed to cash them out, right? And still keep the company going. But I mean, for the sake of time, we don't have the time to go over all of this, but it takes 6 to 12 months just to build $50,000 in business lines of credit. And then we can do another 150 after that. But then we're also putting an umbrella insurance policy and life insurance policies onto this. Folks, we're also making sure that our renters have renters insurance, and we're putting liability insurance on each of the LLCs. Everything in red is an expense. Everything blue is neutral. Everything green is bringing in money. And so we're putting a lot of insurance here, and it helps because we had with the triplex a huge flood damage that cost $170,000. Was it?
100. It was about 107.
Yeah, but I mean, it was all covered by insurance, and we also got compensation for lost rent. So I mean, what does insurance really cost you, right? And then life insurance. Well, Ray and I are insured on this so that our investors know if anything were to ever happen to us, because Ray and I, we travel, we do seminars where, I mean, we have kids that are crazy, so. So you never know what could happen to us. But if anything were to happen to us, the life insurance policy would more than cover us so that our investors would not have to hurt or see a loss due to the loss of management. And after time, within 10 years, those policies, as we fund them, we can borrow against and use the death benefit to protect us and our investors. So again, another safety net for our folks. And then as you build business credit, another safety net is that's tangible, real value. When you actually build real, legitimate business credit within a business, it has a value. So if you have up top there, you see Duplex LLC, if it has $50,000 or $150,000 in corporate lines of credit, if we choose to sell that LLC, say we take the Duplex out and put it into Triplex LLC or into a brand new company all of its own, we could sell just the LLC alone with its lines of credit that would transfer to the new buyer, and then they would have access to those lines of credit. So what is a company that has built into it $150,000 in lines of credit worth?
Well, it's worth at least $150,000.
Exactly. So we could always continue to build new companies, move our properties so we keep them. But if we need to sell off these businesses to people who are looking, hey, I don't have 6 to 12 months to build business credit. I need access to liquidity right now. Well, you could buy one of our companies, right? This is another way that we protect our investment, because our investors, they want to make sure not only that their money grows within their investment, but that they're protected. So already there's a corporate veil of protection because it is the Thousand Doors is its own LLC. There already is business credit. There's insurance, general liability and umbrella. There's life insurance. And then the properties aren't even directly in that LLC. They're in holding LLCs that each have their own corporate veils and their own business credit and insurance. So if anything were to happen to any of these properties, somebody would have to really sue, and through the lawyers, they'd have to get through the corporate try to pierce the corporate veil. They'd have to contend with the lawyers of our insurance companies. And then after that, they'd have to do it all over again with another business. And then after all that, because of business credit is a type of insurance, because as we use it and we take on debt with our business credit, because right now we have no debt, but as we use our business credit to take on debt, anybody who would try to take over these companies has to pay off the business credit debt. So all of this, it makes it very unlikely that somebody would want to go through the hassle and the cost to really come after this. And all the way on the far end, as you see on the left, is our investors and their money, which is we've mitigated as much risk as possible. So keep in mind that when you have properties, there's taxes and maintenance, but after when it's fully rented out, which we are at full occupancy, then the monthly cash flow comes in, right? And then we split it between us and our investors at whatever interest rate they come in. And so every month a nice little rent check comes in, which I love that, by the way.
Absolutely.
And that's the base model of the property. But how do you move forward? How do you go from these 5 doors, duplex 2, triplex 3, to get to the point where you have 1,000 doors, Ray?
Well, the beautiful part about this is there's no current debt except for what is being spent on maintenance through the business credit, but that is always getting paid down through the cash flow. Now, since there are 3 actual companies that all have the trifecta, what we like to call cash flow, collateral, and credit, that's the perfect mixture for getting funding. So once we have this established, well, this is actually already established. So the next phase is setting up some type of new company to hold the larger commercial property. Now, this could be a small apartment complex. In this example, we're talking about a 12-unit apartment complex. Down in Tucson, it's going to be close to about $1 million for the type of property that we're looking for. And so as we are able to buy this, we need to come up with the funds for the down payment, because without raising additional capital, we're going to need to leverage. And so we can easily get funding with a $250,000 down payment. But where are we going to get that? We're going to have to get that from non-recourse collateral loans, using the rentals that are already up and running as collateral and guarantee for the debt. We can easily pull out $250,000 between the 2 properties and send that into a new loan. Then the apartment itself, since it is a business, you can use that business to guarantee the debt. So typically on an apartment complex, you can get a loan for 75% of that apartment complex with 25% down payment. In this case, the apartment itself will be carrying a non-recourse commercial loan that is strictly just built on that asset.
What does non-recourse mean, and why is that important to our investors?
Well, what that means is that this is not anybody personally. This is all built on the asset itself. This also allows for that none of our partners, since we're using retirement accounts, they can't go after any of the retirement accounts itself.
So if we defaulted on any of the loan for the 12-unit apartment complex, how would that impact our investors' capital?
Well, in this case, I mean, so there could be, if we were to default on that, it wouldn't go back to any of our investors personally, for sure. And with all the separation of the companies, their retirement account LLCs or whatever the structure is that they came into, those would be protected as well.
We would lose the commercial complex, but we would still retain the duplex and triplex, right?
Right, unless we were to default on all of that, then we could potentially lose that. But what would be required to do that is basically a mismanagement of everything where we just didn't have any tenants and we just let everything go.
But even if we lost everything and each of these was at, say, $200,000 in business credit, even the parent company, we're still at $600,000.
Oh yeah, easily. We would literally have to just stop doing everything and just vanish for it to actually fall apart.
But we could lose everything and still pay out the investors with our business credit.
Absolutely.
Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So another safety net.
Oh yeah,
how many
absolutely.
safety nets are we at so far?
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we would literally have to just try to actively screw this up for it to go down. And then of course, just with anything that we set up, we are building business credit in a very short period of time, accessing lines of credit, accessing the liability insurance to put in place. And we also have renter's insurance, of course, building of the, and then what's powerful, since we now have debt being brought into this equation on a large level, we start to implement the credit banking strategies. Now, if you are unfamiliar with the credit banking strategy, tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we will be going over the credit banking strategies, which we do each and every week in a mastermind situation. And that deals with both personal all the way to business. Any debt pay down strategy can be carried over to your business, to your personal, and vice versa. But once we get this, credit banking, what it does is it uses business lines of credit and cash flow from a property or from the business itself to transfer amortized loan interest into the simpler, easier to manage line of credit.
At an APR.
Yes, absolutely. Aggressively, now with doing this, we are able to throw all of our extra cash into these lines, which aggressively pays down the debt. It's a very advanced strategy, but we do spend every single week. It takes about 4 weeks for us to go through an entire cycle of building credit banking. So you want to make sure that you get tuned into that. You can also get the Zoom link from going over to Wise Guys and Ties, the event tab. You can register for the Zoom link for the credit banking mastermind.
Right.
But with that being said, there's always taxes, maintenance, loan repayments. The beautiful thing with having credit lines on your properties is it stabilizes everything. It doesn't matter what type of business you're in. If you're a seasonal business, if you're a real estate business, it helps to regulate the cash flow. And that's where business credit is so powerful, reducing risk, stabilizing cash flow, and building confidence.
And after you've paid everything, because I mean we're in this model, we are putting tenants
absolutely
into this 12-plex. So
yeah,
they're going to pay the taxes, the maintenance. They're going to make the loan payments for us.
Because you bring up a very important point that even buying these properties, we want to make sure that they can already pay for themselves. Now, we're always looking at ways to force appreciation. We can raise rents, we can do some improvements, but the way it sits, we want to make sure that it's already able to sustain itself, sustain all of its loan payments, and have some cash flow on top of that. So we want to make sure that everything gets paid and has cash flow in addition to that. So once everything is paid, all the debts, then we have the cash flow that goes back to the company. Now, this was another great point that we had for our partners as they wanted to come on board. All investment capital was to be paid back within 5 years through either the selling of properties or taking on more debt. We could take on a loan against the cash value of the death benefit. We can leverage more of what is existing. We can transfer rentals out of LLCs and sell the LLC itself. There's a lot of different safety nets, but also what's more important is this was an opportunity to give us 5 years to show that the model works. And in that 5-year period, what we also will be doing is illustrating the impact on if we have to pull back at this point. Because since this is a 10-year plan, this is not, something that's built overnight. This is a 10-year plan. And at that 5-year mark, we're only halfway through the plan. So that's like saying, at 40, 50 years old, you're already thinking that you're done with life. That's not even the case. So halfway through the growth period of this, because that's just, the 10 years is just the first milestone. And so what we plan to do is show our partners at that 5-year mark, hey, if we were to do this, this is how it would hurt. It could easily take off 2 years of growth. But the benefit of that, though, if we do that, how much money is still left in the business originally? We literally have built a business on capital, and now everybody has their money back, and anything that's growing is just infinite return.
You know what we could do?
It's literally infinite return.
At the 5-year mark, why don't we just cash them all out, and then we take 100% ownership of the company with all its business credit and assets?
That's always an option too. I don't know if they would be open for that.
Probably not, but at least we would have.
But there's possibilities.
We would have the confidence of knowing that we could do it.
Yes, because as of right now, if somebody wanted to be bought out, which actually has personal situations happen, and we actually swapped ownership out. But what's really cool is it took a lot of time to do that before. If somebody's already seen the model, it literally happened within a day. Somebody was like, whoa, I can hop on board. I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, and this is just one of many models. This is a model where you're showing where we borrow money, but we have so many other investors that are like, hey, I want to do this. How do I get a part of this? We have with the investors we talked to, there's another $1 million out there of investor capital, people that want to be a part of this, that we could bring into a new sub LLC that's used to acquire properties, that the 1,000 doors could become like what Wise Guys is here. We could become 50% ownership, 1,000 doors, into a whole nother company with a brand new group of investors. Right. So
absolutely,
we have so many options here because success breeds success.
It does. And I want to stress the point that this is the first rental business that Joseph and I ever set up. It's been up and running now for almost 2 years, but it is the first rental business. Now, why would anybody have confidence in us to do a rental company, and why would people be so willing to give us hundreds of thousands of dollars?
Would it be because you got educated?
That's the power. Is if you're doing something for the first time, knowledge is key. These are actually classes that we went through on your screen, which you can see here. So there's velocity banking, tax and legal, self-directed IRAs, business credit classes, rental classes, all of these. I mean, there's so many to list off here. You can see on your screen. These are all individual classes between 5 and 10. Some of these, actually, the tax and legal, I mean, that's 2 days.
That was 12 hours.
It's like 12 hours of coursework.
That was fun.
Yes. So that's actually how Joseph and I had met, 4 years ago, was through a company that we were learning about how to become business owners, real estate investors, and learn everything that you did not learn in school and how to be successful.
And it's listed in the bottom right of your screen. As you see, it's called Renatus.
Absolutely. Renatus. It's an education system.
Absolutely. And if you want to learn more about that,
reach out to us.
Yes. And if you're finding any value at all from the information that we're sharing with you on this webinar, please like, subscribe. Really, it helps not only us, but it helps YouTube know that this is the kind of information that is valuable, that people need to change their lives.
Absolutely.
And that's what we want to do. We want to try to add the most value to you that we can. So why don't you talk about, all those classes, was business credit not the real game changer?
It was, because at the time I had terrible credit. We didn't have access to funding, and we needed something to bring to the table. And it was an extra safety net that really put all of the partners over that last hump, because they were thinking, well, what happens if we need new washers, dryers? What if we need all these things? Well, in a very short period of time, we're going to have the ability to be able to fund those. And with there being no existing debt on the properties, all that cash flow can be used for maintenance, emergency funds, as we build up those lines of credit. Now, business credit was crucial for the expansion, because if we do want to grow this and be ready to receive funding, SBA loans, to be able to buy huge, large commercial buildings, we needed to understand how to do this the right way. And business credit showed us how, going through the process of learning how to set up businesses the right way. And now we share that with our clients, is how to actually set up a business the right way. Our program will take you from a newbie You just have a dream and a desire, or maybe you already have a business.
So you don't even have a business.
Yeah, you don't even have a business. Because a lot of businesses that are already up and running, we have to go back and fix everything that was set up the wrong way in the beginning. But either way, it's totally doable. It's going to take time regardless. Nothing easy, or I shouldn't say easy, but nothing worth value is built quickly. And so with our program, it takes 6 to 12 months to gain access to credit for your business, $50,000 in business lines of credit.
Can I say something there real quick?
Yeah.
Because we're at a very, I believe, critical point right now within the economy where we don't know what's going to happen. Are we going to bounce back real quick, or are we going to slide into recession? Well, you can either choose to participate in that recession or not. But I'm encouraging folks that now is the time to start a business if you don't have one. If you have a business, let's build it up, right? Let's grow it. But all of the different lines of credit, the vendor credit, the store credit, the fuel credit, the fleet credit, the high limit cash credit cards, they're all like little faucets that are still running right now, and you can get access to that. But if we do slide into recession, these credit issuers are going to start turning the faucets down or maybe even off, not issuing new lines of credit. So somebody who gets started today has the advantage that if we do slip into recession, you don't have to participate in it, because you'll have the liquidity because you'll still have the liquidity that you got. But if the credit issuers turn those faucets off, right, then when our new clients that come to us, we're going to have to go through secondary lenders, peer-to-peer, something like that. We're going to have to find money in new ways, and I'm confident we can do that. But we won't be able to guarantee a 6-month turnaround on that. We might have to say, hey, we can get this done in 18 months or something like that.
And you bring up a good point too, because they've already tightened everything up on the personal side because they know everybody's in a financial situation. So credit card approvals are getting denied. They're seeing refinancing, cash out refis now going away. They're seeing HELOC approvals going down. And what is the other option? Well, if you've looked, they are pumping billions and billions and billions of dollars, releasing regulations for funding businesses, not the individual.
Right.
So that's, if you need the funds, then let's start looking that way.
Right. And that leads to the next thing that we can talk about, because we're always talking about think outside the bag and getting access to funds. We really want to stress to start a business, but if you already have a business, right?
Oh yeah. Because there's money available right now if you have a business. So different types of funding that you can actually apply for right now: revenue lending, merchant cash advances, accounts receivable, purchase order financing, startup funding, book of business. I was talking to an insurance guy yesterday about expanding his insurance practice because everybody still needs insurance. 401k financing, securities financing on the personal side, commercial vehicle, commercial real estate, peer-to-peer, SBA loans, the PPP that's just got a new injection of funding. There's going to be more funding that keeps coming for that. Angel investors, venture capital, private investments, equity investments. I was looking at statistics. Since everybody's at home and now they finally have some time to pursue their dreams, their passions, there will be more businesses created in this time frame than anything else in history. No.
Which is why people who don't know what they should do, people should be thinking about, well, what do I do? What kind of business? Start a business, a lemonade stand at the end of the street, a referral company, investing in real estate. There's so many different things, but you got to start something.
There's 30 million businesses. There's a lot of business owners. There's entrepreneurs that are sitting at home, and everybody's actually thinking about starting a side hustle now, starting a business. But when that happens, what happens if there's an influx of properties for sale in the real estate market? All of a sudden, there's all sorts of inventory. What happens?
Try and buy them subject to.
Well, that.
But right,
it
that
becomes,
makes the prices go down.
It makes the prices go down. Then it becomes a buyer's market. So they get to pick and choose and have that ability. When there's an influx of businesses, the lenders are going to start to pick and choose. They already do that, but even on a bigger level. And so when you are set up the right way versus a business that is not set up the right way, who's going to get the money?
And the right way means cash flow, collateral, and credit. Yeah,
and even just foundationally, the folks that are still using Gmail accounts versus a good email account, who's going to get the funding?
You're going to get pickier on who's more professionally set up than.
Absolutely. That's what's important about what we're doing right now, and it's even more important now than ever before. So you got to contact us today to expedite your business credit, your direct funding. get credit that's not even linked to your personal social security number.
I want to tell folks, we want you to feel confidence when you're working with Wise Guys and Ties. Go to our website, wiseguysandties.com. You're going to find a plethora of information. We have articles that we've actually written, right? Not that we found from other places, but we have testimonials from our video testimonials from our clients that have utilized the program and experienced massive success. And when you enroll with our Business Credit Builder program, you get 24 access to the online web-based program that's custom designed to tailor to your business financial needs, right? It's in English and Spanish. You have our whole business advisory team that's very proactive. We call you, we hold you accountable, and we call you every day for the first 2 weeks to make sure that you know what you're doing. And then we back off and call you maybe about once a week after that. But we're here to help you, and you can call our financial advisors anytime that'll walk you step by step through the process of how to find these accounts, how to apply for them, the underwriting guidelines, and making sure that because the program is designed to show you here's where you're at, here's what you need to do, and then here's the next step. In fact, we want to blueprint out the next 5 years of your business so that if you want to scale up to buying, say, commercial real estate and get an apartment complex or something, that you can qualify for the $20 million loan that you need through an SBA. I mean, this is what we do. So we help you with the setup of your business right from the beginning, from business name to the entity to getting your EIN, helping you set up your business phone number. And also you need a fax number and to get listed in the 411 National Directory. You're going to need help with your website. Where do you go? When we say help with your website, there are so many mistakes that people make when they set up their website that actually lead to denials.
Yes.
And so we're going to basically coach you on what needs to be on your website and what needs to not be on your website. Even more important than that, setting up a professional business email. If you are in the type of business that needs licensing and other compliances, we're going to check and make sure that you're fully compliant, because if you don't know, believe me, the lenders are going to check and find out, right? Everybody has the internet,
sure.
Right? We're going to help you set up your bank account. And how do we do that? Because banks will offer you better rates, better terms, better deals if you're set up professionally. If you come in as a sole proprietorship or a DBA, right, that's going to be a different type of bank setup than you would if you come in with a professional setup. And that's what banks want. The banks want to see a legitimate business come and bank with them. Getting set up with Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax on the business side, especially your DUNS number setup, which has cost a lot of our clients hundreds of dollars.
Ooh, yeah.
We show you how to do that for free. You've been set up through Experian. There's people that have actually told, what about I've got stuff reporting on my business that's not accurate because they have a name that's similar to another business and something's misreporting. We actually, and I think it's step 4 of our program, we actually walk you through how to fix the inaccuracies that might show up on your report should that happen. And our financial advisory team also give a lot of insight and guidance through that whole process. Our program has over 100 different credit issuers, and we're talking about the largest supply of starter vendors, which I must say is the hardest to find because 97% of them don't even report. If they don't report, you can't build your business credit because it's based off of your payment history. So we have the list of vendors that will report and how to do it. Because so many people, they know different vendors, but they're not reporting. Well, we show you the underwriting guidelines. We show you the hidden tips and strategies of what you have to do to make sure that they actually report. We also have a massive selection of retail and fuel cards, fleet cards that don't require personal guarantee or credit check. And we also have the auto vehicle financing and high limit cash credit cards. This is really where everybody starts and then they don't get approved, or they have to give a personal guarantee. And then you have to wonder, is it actually really a business credit account, or is it a personal account that you gave your business a side card to? And so there are some issues that we see with some of our clients. So when you do it the right way with us and you start with the vendor and move to the retail, then to the cash credit, you're doing it the right way. And we map this out. We show you which vendors to apply to, which accounts to apply to in the right order, and give you all the underwriting guidance. It's like knowing the answers to the test before you even go and take it. And it's an open book test, right?
Absolutely. Because I was talking to this guy yesterday and he said, well, why do you have to go through this process? And I said, imagine you're 18 years old in trying to get a $50,000 credit card. Are they going to give it to you? No, you got to go through a process of building, and the same thing for your business.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so aside from building business credit, we also have the direct funding that we help for existing businesses that are already up and running. So if your business is still has cash flow, maybe you're a restaurant and you still have drive-through access or pick curbside delivery, so there's still cash flow. Now, cash flow based financing has started to drift away because a lot of businesses don't have cash flow, but it's still a very critical requirement for many types of lending that requires cash flow and credit. So we're going to help you find that, because we can bypass the credit side of it, especially if you have business credit. Unsecured financing with 0% interest rates, that's still available even for startups. The hybrid accounts that we're always talking about, it's still a great option. And asset-based lending, and there's so many things that can be collateralized, and we showed that in a previous slide. That if you have that, we can help you get rates as low as 2% for business. I mean, now is a great time for rates, because the Fed is really trying to push business to try and kickstart things up. So we're seeing in some cases interest rates as low as 1%.
Absolutely.
And then SBA loans, term loans, lines of credit. Okay, so term loans are also something that's kind of drifting away right now, but that's just because of some of the uncertainty. But SBA loans are still there. Lines of credit, especially peer-to-peer lending, is huge. And bottom line, having your own financing. And when you hire the Wise Guys and Ties and our financial advisors and our loan officers, you're surrounding yourselves with a competent team of a finance team that's been doing this for over 13 years.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and successfully doing this for 13 years. So what does it cost to work with the Wise Guys and Ties? Well, our services retail, if you want with a no credit check financing option where you put 20% down, it costs over a 12-month period of time, $4,997. And, for people that have some credit issues, but they can make the payments, right? This is a great option for a lot of our clients. But we do offer a one-time cash discount where we will give you over 50% in savings, where you can get our whole program that's with you for up to 5 years for $2,497. I mean, that's it. And with that investment in the next 6 months, especially, I can't emphasize enough, you must get started now. You could be seeing credit lines of $50,000 or more in lines of credit for your business. We have a lot of people that after they invest, within their first 30 days, their credit lines are already, in some cases, $10,000. Now, all results aren't typical. Some people are at various stages of their business, but still, you immediately start seeing. That's what I love about our program, is within 30 days, you're already seeing results, right? And you're watching as everything grows every month, right? The Business Credit Builder program, folks, if you're serious and you're taking your business serious, and if you're taking yourself seriously, and you want to get control of your life and your finances and create your own economy, now is the time to start a business. Now is the time to build and grow your business. And the people to do it with is the Wise Guys and Ties. On behalf of myself, Joseph Smith, and Ray Fleming, would like to say good night. God bless. We'll see you on the other side, folks.